Welcome back to American Old West Tales. In today's video, we will be talking about some facts related to Wells Fargo. So, if you are new to this channel, please subscribe the channel for more such videos. Wells Fargo's express service played a pivotal role in shaping and advancing the Old West, employing a combination of stagecoaches and shotguns. The revelation of gold in California in 1848 triggered a massive wave of migration toward the American West Coast, forever etching the memory of the famous 49 ERs into history. Among the astute businessmen who recognized the potential opportunities were Henry Wells and William Fargo. Yet, their vision didn't involve prospecting with pickaxes or pans. Instead, they foresaw profits through a blend of innovation, stagecoaches, and trusty shotguns. These two individuals were partners who had a hand in establishing the American Express Company. Although today, American Express is renowned for its credit card services, in the 1850s, it was chartered to operate freight lines east of the Mississippi River. Henry Wells and William Fargo, however, recognized the untapped prospects out west and presented a bold proposal to expand American Express's activities to the West Coast. Unfortunately, their proposition faced rejection from the board. Nevertheless, the board granted them permission to embark on their own enterprise. And so, in the year 1852, the birth of Wells, Fargo and Company occurred, an event that would profoundly reshape the history and growth of the Old West. Wells Fargo was akin to the Amazon of the Old West. It was founded with a clear mission: to provide essential delivery and banking services tailored to the needs of the burgeoning Western settlements. In the words of John Boesenecker, whenever a fresh mining camp or cattle town sprang up, the company was there. The company's epicenter found its home on Montgomery Street in San Francisco come July 1852. From this strategic location, they immediately set about crafting a sprawling network of express lines anchored by local offices that spanned across the western frontier. Initially, their efforts were primarily directed at forging connections with key settlements in California, such as Sacramento, Marysville, and Stockton. In a bid to expand their reach, Wells Fargo acquired other transportation enterprises to secure the necessary equipment and bolster their presence along the critical logistical routes. Additionally, the company recognized the pressing demand for banking services in the West, commencing with California, and played a pivotal role in providing the vital capital required to spur economic development. In this regard, their endeavors proved remarkably fruitful. According to the Western Historical Quarterly, by 1859, when Wells Fargo initiated its initial banking venture in California, the company boasted a capital of $1 million. In many respects, Wells Fargo bore resemblance to an early proto-Amazon, exhibiting a similar dominance within its respective industries. In the days of the gold rush, Wells Fargo stages and sturdy ponies served as the trusted carriers of precious gold and silver. The company's stagecoaches ventured far and wide, reaching the remote mining camps to gather substantial quantities of shimmering gold dust, swiftly transporting these riches back to the bustling cities. For those miners who preferred to personally deliver their hard-earned gold dust, the company thoughtfully established agencies in the principal towns. Here, prospectors could readily exchange their prized gold dust for the more manageable forms of gold bars or coins. The sheer volume of gold that passed through the company's hands was truly astonishing, providing a glimpse into the immense wealth flowing out from the Western territories. As recounted in the Western Historical Quarterly, a single month, March 1854, witnessed the delivery of an astounding $2,618,404 worth of gold dust into the heart of San Francisco. The following year, Wells Fargo ascended to the forefront of gold shipments, seizing the opportunity as its larger competitors succumbed to the tumultuous panic of 1855. It appeared that people placed their trust in this emerging company, which continued to honor its commitments to depositors even when the broader economy faltered. Beyond the valuable cargo of precious metals, Wells Fargo's expeditions carried something arguably even more cherished: letters and packages from its express service. For those residing in the isolated mining camps, these missives were often the sole connection to loved ones back home, providing a precious lifeline in the midst of the desolate wilderness. Following the discovery of the Comstock lode in 1859, silver swiftly gained prominence as a valuable commodity for Wells Fargo. Silver, being bulkier than gold, spurred the rapid expansion of the stagecoach lines that would soon become synonymous with the company. By and large, Wells Fargo boasted a commendable track record of successfully delivering its precious cargo to its intended destinations, earning a reputation as a dependable mode of transport. Additionally, the company offered insurance to safeguard shippers against potential losses, further enhancing its appeal for prospective users. However, these advantages did not come without their share of challenges, ultimately transforming Wells Fargo stagecoaches into enduring icons of the Old West. Given the nature of Wells Fargo's cargo, it inevitably attracted the attention of robbers and desperados seeking to seize the valuable spoils. The inaugural stagecoach robbery in the gold-rich region of California unfolded in 1856. This incident marked the onset of a long-standing tradition of stagecoach heists. Between 1870 and 1884 alone, a staggering tally of 347 attempted and actual stagecoach robberies occurred. In response to this relentless threat, the company began deploying armed guards aboard their stagecoaches. These vigilant protectors, famously wielding double-barreled shotguns, earned the moniker of shotgun messengers. Over time, their role gave rise to the enduring phrase, riding shotgun, which has endured in the modern lexicon. A Wells Fargo stagecoach robbery, contrary to what you might envision from Hollywood, lacked the dramatic flair often depicted today. Typically, these attempts, whether completed or just planned, followed a rather mundane script. The culprits, often referred to as road agents, would strategically position themselves along a steep incline in wait for their target. Due to the challenging terrain, the stagecoach driver would have to exit the wagon and manually guide it along the slope. At this opportune moment, the robber would leap forth and seize the reins, while a compatriot stood watch, commanding the surrender of the treasure box. It's worth noting that this modus operandi resulted in 74 stagecoach robberies in California between 1886 and 1892. However, obtaining the contents of the box was seldom a straightforward affair. By the late 1860s, Wells Fargo had adopted countermeasures, securing their treasure boxes firmly to the stagecoach floors. In a notable incident recounted in the Western Historical Quarterly, transpiring in October 1866, a gang of robbers halted a stage and removed the passengers. Among these passengers was a woman they placed on a rock with a pillow. Subsequently, they detonated the box, inadvertently setting the stagecoach ablaze. Following this, they rifled through the passengers' possessions in search of valuables, all while the captive woman was compelled to watch as part of their involuntary audience. Wells Fargo boasted a formidable shotgun messenger by the name of Mike Tovey. Given that Wells Fargo stagecoaches were frequent targets of criminal activities, it's hardly surprising that some of these shotgun messengers evolved into seasoned warriors. One of the most renowned among them was Mike Tovey. His service spanned from 1871 to 1893, encompassing various territories, ranging from Montana to California. Tovey's most celebrated feat unfolded in 1880 within Nevada's Sweetwater Mountains. At the ungodly hour of 3 a.m. on September 5th, at the summit of Sweetwater, notorious stagecoach robbers Milton Sharp and William C. Jones hatched a scheme to rob Tovey's coach. However, Tovey had been privy to prior holdups in the past, and upon spotting nearby footprints, opted to forge ahead of the stagecoach. The robbers attempted to catch Tovey off guard, issuing calls from the darkness and firing warning shots. Craftily pretending to be intimidated, Tovey retreated to the coach, assuring them that he'd hand over the treasure box. After a bit of verbal sparring, Tovey suddenly unleashed the fury of his two-barrel shotgun. In the ensuing skirmish, Tovey dispatched Jones, though he himself fell victim to a bullet that shattered his right forearm. Sharp made a hasty retreat into the obscurity of the night. While Tovey was receiving aid, Sharp returned to pilfer $750 from the strongbox. Remarkably, Tovey continued to serve Wells Fargo for another 13 years, enduring additional wounds until 1893, when a bandit's bullet found its way to his heart. During the period spanning 1855 to 1915, a total of 53 expressmen paid the ultimate price,